far as is it like a profanity?
What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Coming to you again for my little podcast. And I got a friend on with me today. And I just want to introduce my guy, my friend, my brother. It says at the bottom, Byron Johnson, 17 years playing overseas, a Belmont Abbey College alum, 2001, 2002 CVAC Player of the Year, and one of the best looking teammates Tony ever had. Like, I don't know where that come from, but dude, where that come from? What's going on, B?
What up, Bo?
How everything going?
Everything is everything, man. You know, trying to get that one last year in. I'm done.
I told you to quit 2 or 3 years ago, man.
I know, right? I don't be listening. You already know I don't listen to nobody.
So I already know that.
I'm gonna get that one last year in, and it is what it is, man. So yeah.
All right. Well, shoot. As long as you can keep doing it, playing at a high level, you know, keep doing it. Yes, so where you gonna be playing at this one last year?
Probably in like the place. I'm in Argentina right now. Probably the place that I've been playing at for the last 2 or 3 years. I didn't want my career to end on for the pandemic and everything like that.
Yeah.
So if I get a decent chance, just play one more season and that's it. It's more sentimental than anything. So
I feel you. Hey, I got a question for you before we get going. I got a question for you before we get going. How was it playing with me?
Which, I mean, yeah, playing like, on the same court as you is like, if you passing the ball, it's a good chance it's going up and he gonna make it. It's like if somebody wasn't on you, just kick it to him, he gonna shoot it. I be joking with you saying that you was a gun and you ain't passed the ball, but man, that's like in that era of basketball, the 3 ball wasn't used as it is now, so it was different. Man, you was a marksman, man. It's like, shoot, if you pass it to him, he's going up, and he's probably gonna make it. So it was good, man. Like, and I think you were very underrated on defense as well. You had those quick, strong hands. You know that the little swipe you had. I remember the first time playing pickup against you, and you did a little swipe thing. I was like, yo, that's a foul. He was like, man, that's all ball. I was like, yeah. So. You had the quick hands, and you were very underrated. I just think you was born, 10 or 15 years too early, because in this era you would be, you would probably be a point guard or something. But we can't help what year was born in. But yeah, man, it was different. He was a great teammate, man. He wasn't selfish. He was about winning. He was about the game of basketball, the pure game of basketball. So I enjoyed it. I know off the court I don't even say we had issues. Like, we clashed a lot, but we both country boys. And I was like, he respects people. He got that, the country courtesy. I like Tony. So yeah.
Yeah, but who doesn't clash off the court every now and then? We clashed on the court too because we pushed each other. If I wasn't having a good game, you would come to me and say something, and likewise, I would do the same thing to you.
Well, let's go, Tony. Yeah, let's go, Tony. Come on, man. Yeah, likewise. So, that type of we love winning so much, and we love being competitive. That it pushed us to say that, and it never got to a place where I couldn't say anything to you. We felt comfortable, especially the last 2 years. We were comfortable enough with one another to be. Like, look, man, you didn't play that well tonight. Let's pick it up and stuff like that. So, it was a great experience, man. Me, you, Stu, and Greg. But the 4 of us, it was from what is it, August of '98 till May of 2002. It was a very unique experience, and those are things that stay with you forever. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I thought about it today. I was like 23 years, like we've been knowing each other. August of 1998. Whoever thought that we were still like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of people that don't communicate with teammates and stuff now,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's because man, we had that camaraderie that you know, and even though it was only 4 years that we basically lived with one another, but still, it was just that bond that doesn't that time doesn't ruin. So yeah,
Yeah.
man, I love my brothers, man. Playing basketball, we go through all that type of stuff, running sessions, dip flipping out on us, losing home games we should have won, losing road games we should have won. We lost to Elon by 50 points in our freshman year, and then we went from that to beating College of Charleston on the road, our senior year. It's just the maturity that we had in order
Yeah.
to get to that
Yeah.
type of level was just was great. So, I really appreciated those years playing at BAC. It was awesome.
Yeah, I had a great time too, man. Like you were one of my best teammates. I had a lot of good teammates, but me and you, we got along on and off the court, and you had the same competitive drive that I had. You didn't want to lose. You wanted to win at all costs, and it didn't matter who scored or whatever. Like if I was on one night, you was like, "Let's get this dude the ball," and likewise. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, we played off of each other, which was you was inside, I was outside. So it was a lot of times you would have wide open layups. I'd be like, B, that's my layup because I cause people not to be able to help because if they can't help off me, then it was 1-on-1 for you.
Yeah. I mean, it was like playing 4-on-4 sometimes because they had to be on you. Like if somebody floated off of you, man down, hand down, it's going up. It's like you do not leave Tony Crawford open. I didn't know about the other team reports, but I'd imagine it's like you have to play him. You have to face guard Crawford because if not, he gonna light you up. And that happened our senior year against Pfeiffer. I think the first time we played them at our crib, I had 35 and 20, and they was like, okay, we're gonna focus on Johnson. And you went off. You had like 36, 37 triples. I was like, man, this is dude.
Yeah, they had to pick their poison. They had to pick their poison.
Exactly. So, but yeah, man, it was. I remember the first time we played pickup. Actually, I was watching you playing pickup because ain't nobody picked me up yet. I was trash. that first week of pickup. But I forgot. I remember McCool was guarding you, and he didn't really have a scout report on you either. And he found out quick, he was like, yo, you got to pick this dude up at half court. But I think he had like 4 threes in a row to end the game. I was like, oh, this dude can shoot. He not I can shoot a little bit. He was going off, hash mark type range. I was like, okay, yeah. And he in the same class. Okay, I see what we dealing with here. So yeah, man, that was and you were starting this stuff, so that drove me. I was like, yeah, I'm trying to be out there with this guy. So yeah, man, good times.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I think we had a great time. And look,
Yeah.
my nephew TC, he put up here, he not passing it back, laugh out loud. But
it's all good though. Like it's like, what you gonna do? It's like, who else are we gonna ask to shoot that type of shot? And you was knocking down shots with hands in the face and everything, and they was trying to, I know you was taking a beating, with the screens and stuff, but as soon as if you get that sight on it, it's over. It's like he gonna put it up there, and it's a good chance it's going in. And if not, I got that rebound, and I'm putting it back up because there's no way I'm passing it back out to you.
Yeah, I know you're not passing it back. So I didn't want you to pass it back either, unless you had 5-6 people.
I weighed 40 pounds less than everybody I was playing against. I was like, if I get a rebound, I earn that joint.
I feel you.
Yeah.
All right, B, we're gonna move on along. We're gonna talk about our next topic. Our next topic, B, is going to be the NFL championship weekend. We had 2 games. You had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Green Bay Packers, and we'll talk about that game first. The Bucs won 31-26. Brady was 20 for 36, 280 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Rodgers was 33 for 48, 346, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. In my opinion, I believe the game was lost by Green Bay whenever Brady threw those 3 picks and they didn't capitalize off of it.
Didn't
Like,
capitalize. Yeah.
yeah, you gotta capitalize when you got those type, because Tom Brady doesn't make those type of mistakes too often. And he made them 3 straight times, and they didn't capitalize off that one bit.
Yeah. I mean, if a defense gets 3 turnovers, you're supposed to win a game, especially at home. Like you're on the road, teams that commit 3 turnovers aren't supposed to win.
Yeah.
And they won.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Brady's had a reputation. People say, "Oh, he's gotten lucky over the years." Look, you need a bit of luck in order to win at that level.
I agree.
Especially with injuries. I thought Mike Evans was done for the year. That injury that he had in week 15 or 16, I forgot what it was when he hurt his knee. I was like, "Oh, he's not playing," so that messes up the whole receiving core. Everybody has to step up, but. They got lucky that Mike Evans, who was an elite receiver, could continue to perform. But statistically, Aaron Rodgers had a great game, three touchdowns and 1 pick. But I think Tampa's defense is very underrated. Was very underrated. I know, when they bring in a high-profile quarterback like Tom Brady, who he got 6 rings, and also you bring in Gronk, Antonio Brown. They're names on paper. Those are guys who have been there, done that as far as the elite of the NFL. But yeah, 3 turnovers. You're supposed to. You gotta convert that, and they only lost by 5 points. So at home, so it's like if you flip one of those turnovers into points, like a touchdown, or if you flip all 3 of those turnovers into at least a field goal each, that you win the game.
Yeah.
And in playoff football, the margin of error is so small that you can't do that and come away with nothing. So it looks like Green Bay just really missed an opportunity to win. And they were at home. They were a well-oiled machine. They beat the Rams pretty solidly the week before, and Aaron Rodgers is probably going to be the named MVP of the league.
Yeah,
he's had a great year. Him and Devontae Adams, a very good duo. But playoff football is just like they just came up short. So yeah, hats off to Brady and the Bucs. It's like you bring that guy in and he in the Super Bowl his first year. It's like what can you say?
I agree with you on that as far as him, because I mean, you just needed a little bit of leadership for that team, because I mean that defense was like. I felt like that defense was top shelf. Like, front 4 was real dangerous. Like last night they got 5 sacks and they hit Aaron Rodgers 8 times.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that made big difference.
Very well.
Yeah. Me personally, I felt like it was a good game, but I felt like Green Bay lost it more than Tampa Bay won it, because and I'm not taking nothing from Tampa. It's just that whenever you got 3 interceptions, like, and you got to capitalize. And the other thing is, you say that Aaron Rodgers is this bad man, like he has to, take his team down the field and score some points. You can't go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out.
Yeah, well, for the sake of disclosure, I didn't see the game. So the broadcasting in Argentina, I'm in Argentina. The broadcasting in Argentina isn't as if you don't have Fox Premium, whatever out here, you're not going to see the game. But Aaron Rodgers, it's just if Tom Brady throws 3 picks, you can't. Teams have won without him throwing picks.
Yeah,
and he throws 3, and you still lose at home, a game that hats off to Tom Brady. The week before they beat the Saints, I think there was a momentum shift. The guy from I forgot who he was, but I think the Saints are up 3. They're driving, and they look like they're going to score, and the guy fumbles the football, and that changed the whole minute of the game.
Yeah.
It's like, how lucky, is that luck, or is it just things that happen in playoff football?
It could be a little bit of both.
Fumble. Yeah. So, and how many times are people going to bet against Tom Brady and until we learn our lesson? It was like, yo, don't bet against this dude. But he didn't light up. It's not like he lit it up. He had two.
No,
he didn't even have 300 yards. He did have 3 touchdowns, but
he didn't do anything like spectacular that was just going to make you like feel like knock your socks off or anything. So, but this the other thing. B, that people is not taking into consideration. Also, yesterday they played in front of fans. That was the first time Tampa had played. You at home, you playing in front of fans. So the crowd noise made a little bit of a factor. So you at home, you got your fans, like, because I've always said since they were keeping fans away that it was really no home field advantage, because crowd noise make a big difference and all that good stuff. But you have fans and all that good stuff, and so I mean it was just no excuse for me. Yeah. Jake said Aaron Jones 2 fumbles didn't really help Green Bay much either. He got a point there.
I mean, you can't turn the ball over. Yeah, in playoff football, you can't be turning the ball over. They're trusting you with to secure the football, and you can't turn it over, man. The possession is important, and Tom Brady is somebody who understands that. Like, he doesn't have the weapons he had, like, when the 2007, 2008 teams, but at least in those teams, they weren't any. They took care of the football, and it's not about winning pretty or putting up a bunch of points. About as long as you come away with the win, it doesn't matter how you do it. And I think Tom Brady is one of those quarterbacks where he can win ugly. Like, he had a game where under 300 yards passing in a league in an era where passing is like the premium. He's like, guys are dropping back 60 times a game and throwing for 400 yards.
Yeah,
he can win dirty. And, you also need a good defense in order to do that. It's not just on him. But hey, what can you say? You can't – I know people want to be like, oh, he didn't do much. But it's like, at some point, the guy's about to go to his 10th Super Bowl. It's like, it's not a coincidence. It's like it's not like he's on a team that happens to go to the Super Bowl. He's QB1. And the first year he's in another conference, he goes to the Super Bowl. So it's –
Hey, B,
football is like that, man.
But one thing about him is he was smart about this entire process whenever he chose a team.
Yeah.
He picked a team that had some weapons, that had some cap space, that were going to get some more players and had a great defense. And so that was the smartest move by him, which I'm not knocking him for it, because that's just good business. I mean, he saw the writing on the wall in New England, and he jumped ship. I mean, they didn't put any pieces and stuff around him, but and he goes to Tampa, and I think it's more so they, like, when they had Jameis Winston last year, I mean, they were a middle of the pack average team. So put a better quarterback back there that's going to protect the football, because that's what Jameis didn't do. He didn't protect the football. And Brady protects the football. Well, he didn't do it in the second half last night, but for the most part, he protects the football. And I mean, and then you got a good running game. Leonard Fournette is a good running back.
Yeah, I think they got him on discount. Like, Leonard Fournette was the number one recruit out of high school in 2012 or 2013, something like that. So, he went to LSU. He was, had a big name or whatever. I think people kind of forgot. You get lost in that because the running back position is something where you're good for 2 or 3 years, and then you have one bad year and everybody kind of writes you off. It's very rare that running backs nowadays are, after 5 years, they're worth anything, which is, they have a really punishing position where they take a lot of hits, and physically they decline at a much higher rate than the other positions. But he's been a huge key. Like, people are kind of are really seeing his level of talent. Like, he's a super talented, running back. So shouts out to Leonard Fournette, man.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, let's talk about the second game, the AFC game, the Bills at the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'll call out some stats for you. The Chiefs won 38-24. Mahomes was 29 for 38 for 335 yards and 3 touchdowns. Josh Allen was 28 for 48 for 287, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT. Tyreek Hill had 172 yards receiving, and Travis Kelce had 118 with 2 touchdowns. I think we have some technical difficulties. Byron's Wi-Fi is kind of crazy over in Argentina, so hopefully he'll come back here in just a second. So we'll see what happens with his Wi-Fi. But to talk about that game, I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs is just a well-oiled machine. It didn't even look like they were, playing like at 100%. It was like almost like they were toying with the Buffalo Bills. And Mahomes has a lot of weapons. Shoot, Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce both had over 100 yards receiving yesterday. And I think that the Buffalo Bills was kind of, caught up in the moment. Didn't, Josh Allen, he had been playing well, and I think it was a lot of pressure on him and all of that stuff. I that's what I really truly believe happened, in that game. And then, Stephon Diggs he was held in check. And I would just have to say, the Kansas City defense is very, I underrated them. I felt like they would expose Kansas City, but after watching them last night, I really had to go back and reevaluate myself and say, man, Kansas City defense is very underrated. And we got B back. I guess his Wi-Fi started back working right, so he's back. But, and Stephon Diggs was held in check yesterday. Stephon Diggs had looked like the best receiver in football the last, few weeks. And then last night, I mean, he was held in check. I think he might have had 72 yards receiving last night. And most of that was that in at the end of the game where they was, basically in a prevent defense trying to just keep them from scoring. It was, late in the game. He really had no effect on the football game at all.
Yeah, I think Kansas City's style of attacking defenses really it's like an offense that puts so much pressure on the defense is if you do a bunch of 3 and outs, it's just a matter of time before you're not you're so behind the 8 ball, and you have a quarterback like Mahomes, you got weapons like Kelce and Tyreek Hill that can make big plays for you, especially Kelce on third downs. He's so, he's such a lethal, person, especially, they're playing. If you zone him, he's so big. It's just he reminds me of Gronkowski. I don't think he's as talented as Gronkowski, but he has that type of mold. He's 6'7", 250, 260, great hands, make plays. So he gets open, and then Tyreek Hill, every time he touches the ball, he's a threat to go to the house. And Mahomes is, he's building his legacy. So, but yeah, I think it's a good learning experience for Buffalo. They kind of came out of nowhere this season, even though, you had a Josh Allen who everybody, he came out of college very highly touted because he was, a very athletic quarterback and very talented. But, you never know. And plus he went to Buffalo, which hasn't really been relevant since Marv Levy was the coach. So, yeah, it was good to see that team go there. I don't think anybody expected Buffalo to win. But they did smoke the Ravens, and everybody was like, okay, maybe they got something for these Chiefs. But, the Chiefs haven't looked as invincible as they have the last 2 years. I think, some weaknesses have been exposed. And if any team is going to expose them, it's a Tom Brady-led team. But, sometimes you gotta get it out the mud if you're a champion. and they showed that. So hats off to the Chiefs. Andy Reid, man, good God, where was his play calling when he was in Philly?
Ho. He didn't have weapons like that in Philly. Come on now.
Oh, he had some weapons in Philly. He had Brian.
No, I said I know you. The key word I said like that. He has some weapons, but he got weapons all over the place in Kansas City.
Yeah, well, the league is different nowadays.
Yeah, it's different. Yep,
it's different. You can't touch the quarterback. It's not as, and he's not playing. You know, he didn't have to play against that Carolina defense with Julius Peppers. He didn't have to play against that Tampa 2.
Yeah,
which was one of the greatest defenses. So I
talking about Warren Sapp and them boys.
Oh, Derek Alexander. Oh man, Derek Brooks and Barber.
Yeah, that entire team.
Simeon Rice. But still, it's like the play calling, the creativity. I'm not even gonna talk about the Philly days, but hey, Andy Reid. Maybe it's it's one of the things in boxing once somebody wins a belt, he gets more confidence, and so he can do more. So it's like maybe Andy Reid, because he's won he finally got his Super Bowl. He's a little bit more emboldened to call better plays and open up his playbook. So
hey B, but the other thing too is B, he got a hell of a offensive coordinator in Eric Bieniemy.
Eric Bieniemy, I remember he played at Colorado.
He has a hell of an offensive coordinator, and they're using all of their strengths. Like if you watch their formations, you never know what they're going to do. Like they can run the same play
they have
off
weapons.
of 4 different formations. And so like I feel like going in
like that rookie from LSU.
The rookie from LSU?
Yeah, Clyde Gelaire.
Yeah.
I forgot his name. Edwards-Helaire. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's like perfect for that offense. So yeah, they draft well, and they develop well, and they're well coached. And every championship dynasty or team has an assistant, especially in football. You have an assistant that stays 2 or 3 years where he's going to be vetted to be a head coach eventually. So I think, Eric Bieniemy is very sought after as far as being a head coach goes, but he's really been, one of the keys as far as the development of his team and, to be an elite team, because their offense is explosive. They don't have a grinded out type of offense where they're going to control the clock and run time off. Their quick strike is like, it remind me of the Florida Gators when they had Steve Spurrier as the coach. It's like, you can try this if you want to, but we're not gonna take time off. Like if we're gonna get 7, we're gonna do it as little time as possible. So I do like that about them.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's a good analogy about them looking like the Steve Spurrier Florida Gators. Like that does make a whole lot, because that's exactly what it looks like. Like they got weapons. But the other thing that I like about Kansas City is, how you have those teams that have a whole bunch of talent and everybody's worried about getting the football. Like they have to be a quick strike team so everybody can get the football. And like they spread it around and keep everybody happy. Like everybody's happy. Like everybody happy on that team. Yeah.
I mean, every team got to have some type of ego in order to, because you got to have some type of pride in order to be able to be at that type of level. But it seems like that's the type of team when it comes down to winning and just doing the things to get your team to the next round, they're willing to sacrifice. I don't know if Travis Kelce is sitting there looking at his stats after the game, wondering if he got over 100 yards. What matters at this point of the season, it's about winning. Like you've had 16, 17 weeks to get your stats. It's not about stats at this point. It's about, trying to get another ring, which is something that you really, in the short window that's a football career, especially at this level, it's very difficult to get one ring, and they're trying to get 2 in a row. I mean, look at all the elite quarterbacks that we grew up watching that never got, to even play in a Super Bowl, let alone win a ring, like Dan Marino and Randall Cunningham. Yeah. Those are guys that never even got to, that were super talented, but they never got to even a chance to play. Well, I think Dan Marino played in the Super Bowl, but I don't think Cunningham got to play in one. So, yeah, it's, at this point in the season, it's all about winning. You're not it's the regular season's over. The time to get the incentives and the stats is over. It's all about what can you do to get your team to the next round, to get your team to keep playing. So. And Kansas City has, they've had a bullseye on their back for the last couple of years. Mahomes was the MVP a couple of years ago, and they won the Super Bowl this past year. So they're gonna get everybody's best effort every week. So and they've managed to stay as an elite team in spite of that. So that's coaching, that's players, that's character.
Yeah, I agree. All right, with this right here, it'll lead to our next topic. Game that was played yesterday, the Packers and the Bucks. But we're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers' legacy.
Okay.
So yesterday's game, he had a chance to beat Tom Brady, and everybody talk about how he's such a bad man. But he's 1-4 in NFC Championship games.
Okay.
1-4, one Super Bowl. So how does Aaron Rodgers separate himself from the Drew Breeses and the Peyton Mannings and all of those guys?
Well, Aaron Rodgers has as many Super Bowls as Drew Brees. That's one. So they have one, which is, that shows how hard it is to even get to the game, let alone win one. I definitely, if Aaron Rodgers' career were to end today, which I doubt it will, it's like he left a lot of meat on that bone. It's like he could have. There's maybe he should at least have 2, maybe 3.
Yeah.
For as talented as he is, and those teams are. It just goes to show how hard it is to win in that league in the NFL, because you can have all the talent in the world and just have a bad game, and they do something like lose to the New York Giants in 2007 at home. It's like, and that's the Giants team that end up winning the Super Bowl, but still, it's like, numbers. It's hard to say. I don't think he's a choke artist, because he played well in those games that he lost. But still, it's like the ultimate, the culmination of a quarterback is getting your team and winning a championship. Do I think he's better than somebody like Ben Roethlisberger, who has 2 championships and he only has 1? Of course, like having one doesn't mean having more in Super Bowls doesn't I don't think make you exactly a better quarterback. Brad Johnson has 1. That doesn't mean he's just as good as Aaron Rodgers. There are a lot of guys who can just win 1, but Aaron Rodgers will go down as one of the best quarterbacks of his era. How is he, like 36, 37?
I think he's 37.
Okay. So, but he's also at a high-profile position. He's a quarterback. He's a starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. I wouldn't say he made people forget about Brett Favre, but like look at the light Brett Favre has held in, and he's only won 1 Super Bowl. He's won 1 and lost 1. He lost against John Elway in the year after they won in '96 against the New England Patriots with Drew Bledsoe. So, look, he's an awesome quarterback. He's one of those special guys, but I don't think football is as easy to say, well, he doesn't have any rings as well as it is like in basketball. I think in basketball, a basketball player has more control over what happens on the court because they have to play offense and defense. Aaron Rodgers had a pretty, like, by all standards, that's a pretty good game he had yesterday. It's just
he had a real good game.
Yeah, but in any other, like, he plays that game maybe 8 out of 10 times, they win that. But it's just like sometimes it be that way, with sports. You can have a great game and still lose. Unfortunately, it came against the GOAT, against a team they probably should have beat. I don't think Tampa Bay had a better team than Green Bay. I think Devontae Adams is the best wide receiver in the league. I think they had a very underrated team outside of him and Rodgers. But yeah, it's very unfortunate. I think his legacy will be he left some things out there that he should have had more than one. With all the talent he had, he won his only Super Bowl was in 2010, I think, against the Steelers. The 2010, 2011 Super Bowl, and that's 10 years ago. So he's had time, and he's had some disappointing ends to seasons. He's had some injuries, which happens to a lot of people, but I think his legacy will go down as he'll go down as a top 20 quarterback. But I think because he doesn't have his multiple Super Bowl wins, that is the thing that's going to stop him from being considered as one of the elites. Like, I don't even consider Peyton. I think Peyton Manning, he has 2 Super Bowl wins, but really he has one. Like, that second one was on it. Come on, man. Like, the Denver defense won that. Von Miller was the man on that team. Anybody could have won with that. But, okay, it counts.
But the big head general, he controlled everything, man. They needed somebody. The big head general can close.
Yelling Omaha doesn't mean anything. Come on. He got that one, and hats off to him for that. But it's like Peyton Manning. You feel like he could have won. He should have more than 1 Super Bowl. Okay, 2. He should have more than 2 Super Bowls. So that's how I feel about Aaron Rodgers. He should have probably 2 or 3. But that just goes to show how competitive and how hard it is to win in the NFL. It's just like an injury here, a trade there, a bad acquisition there, a bad draft here. And that's the difference between, a first-round exit and, back-to-back titles or just one title. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like the reason why I asked this question is because, and my take on it is because you hear so many people say that he might be the greatest quarterback they ever seen. Like I hear it a lot. And so the reason why I don't feel that way is because he hasn't won. Like, he's had enough talent to win. Like this year, like I'm like you, they had a better team than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
They really did. Yeah.
They really did. And and I'm not gonna say he had a choke job, because with the stats that he put up yesterday, those were winning stats. But whenever you get the ball 3 times and you can't win a football game, off turnovers like that, and you're at home, you're at Lambeau, your first NFC Championship game at Lambeau, and I mean, you can't pull it out and win. Yeah, you got to win.
Yeah, you got. Like, do you think Tom Brady would squander 3 turnovers? Like, he's gonna get something out of that. That's why games where he gets turnovers, they're blowouts basically.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, Tom Brady, he beat this Chiefs team a couple years ago with a less talented Patriots team. Like, he beat MVP Mahomes, so they going into that thinking, oh, this is cake. This is like basically the Western Conference Championship when it was the Lakers dominating. It's like whoever wins this conference championship is probably going to win the championship. So
yeah,
they going into that confident. So, but yeah, I just think Aaron Rodgers. I wouldn't say bad luck. I just think, and it wasn't a choke job. It's not like he threw 4 interceptions and no turn in 2 fumbles. He's played well in the games that he's lost. It's just like, man, you're supposed to win. You're supposed to win those.
Yeah.
Especially with 3 turnovers at home. It's like you gotta win those. And I know they'll go back, and I know there are people questioning some of the play calls and stuff like that. But that's 2020 hindsight. I mean, a mistake here, a mistake there. Like what is it? The dude on any given Sunday. It's a game of inches, and the margin of error is so small at this level that one error, like if somebody runs a bad route on 3rd and 7, that could be the difference between winning and losing. So it's like that, and that's a tough sport to have that type of success in, which makes what Brady is doing so great. So yeah.
All right, B. Well, we're gonna move on to the next topic. Well, before we go there, Jake says, do you think the call to kick the field goal on 4th down at the 6-yard line with just 2 minutes to go and they were down 8 was smart for LaFleur? No, I actually don't think it was smart, because you can't expect your team, your defense to get a stop for 2 minutes with Tom Brady at quarterback because he's going to find a way. So my thing was, you're at home. I think you go for it. What do you think? You go for it?
Yeah, I think a lot of the decision making that these coaches make nowadays, they're already thinking about what Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith are going to say the next day. Just go, like, have some balls and just go for it. Like, who cares? Like, these people, like these talking heads, who cares about what they're going to say? It's your job. You're the one who earned the spot to be the coach. You get paid to make these type of decisions, but don't make that decision and think, oh, well, if I kick a field goal and make it, and I can just say, nah, just go for it, man. Like,
forget all that.
How many times you're going to be in this position again?
Yeah, forget all the analytics. Like, the game is on the line. Hey, look, and this the other way.
Quarterback.
Yeah, that's the other thing I'm looking at. You got Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, supposed to be that bad man. So you go for it. You drop a play that's going to get you a touchdown. Yeah. And then the other way you got to look at it be, let's say Fitz, they don't get it on fourth. Mm-hmm. Tampa Bay is deeper. Yeah, they in position. They're in position.
They're not going to try. Look, say you get the 3 points. Okay, you're down 5, which is what they end up losing by. But they have very good field position because they're probably going to, if they do touchback, they're going to start at the 20. That's enough room. Say you miss the 4th down, they're inside your 10-yard line. They're not going to do anything. Like, you gotta go for that because Brady's going to do what Brady do, but you can be aggressive one way or another. Brady's not going to stop trying to beat you just because he's on the 20 or the 6-yard line, but you got to at least go. You got to go for the because he's going to go for the jugular, so you better go for the jugular too. It's nobody. There's no let up at this level, especially at this point in the game. So that field goal it was conservative, which he's like, I have faith in my defense, but if the Legion of Boom couldn't stop Brady in 2013, what makes you think that your team is going to do that? So, but 2020 is always hindsight. If they had made the field goal and then got a 3 and out and then went and scored again, it was like, oh, what a genius call.
You're right. You're right.
It's like, okay, whatever. So I think he gets paid to make those decisions, and the talking heads don't. The talking heads get paid to criticize one way or the other. So if it had worked out for him, he would have been a genius. If not, then he would have been criticized like he is now. So
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the next topic. Our next topic is your boy Kyrie Irving and the Nets. I'm gonna go ahead and give you my take on it right now. So the question's asked, what should the Nets do with him? Me personally, whenever they made the trade for James Harden, I said it from the start. They should trade Kyrie, get some wing defenders, and maybe a shooter, and maybe another big man, and have some depth and play with KD and James. Because you have a lot of other pieces that's already there that can help you get over the top. I just think they need a little bit more depth, and you can trade Kyrie and get what you need to get. Now, there's rumor that they possibly trying to trade with Cleveland, send Kyrie to Cleveland and get Kevin Love and JaVale McGee.
Kevin Love is still in Cleveland?
Yes, he's still in Cleveland.
Oh my gosh, poor guy.
I think they should trade him. I said it from the start. Trade Kyrie Irving simply because he has his issues. He has his issues, which I feel like you got to get some help for that. But when you watch them play whenever he was out and KD and James were playing, that was the first time that I seen KD smile the entire year. The first time. Yeah. Him and James looked like they were having fun. They were gelling together. Then Kyrie comes back and he want to take 28, 29 shots a game. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think?
I don't. Well, they haven't played that many games together, so it's hard to. When is the trade deadline?
I gotta check it because the trade deadline is different. Because it used to be like right around Valentine's Day. So let me check real quick while you're talking. I'll tell you when it is.
Because of it depends on what the trade deadline is. It's like they haven't played barely any games together, so it's hard to
March
say.
25th.
Like, oh, okay. So there's time. I think you give this you try this month out, and while that's going on, you shop, you see, you talk and see what can you get for who, what, and whatever. But Kyrie didn't do himself any favors by going on a sabbatical in the middle of the season for no apparent reason. By the way, that's another issue. But as far as the basketball issue goes, it's hard to say. They haven't spent much time together on the floor. Kyrie has proven that he's a championship type. Like he's willing to. I wouldn't even know if he's willing to sacrifice because, like, if you have LeBron James on your team, like, you better sacrifice. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, you gonna demand more shots when LeBron is on your team in 2016? But he has always been to me somebody who's a good overqualified second or third fiddle. I don't think he can lead a team. He had his chance in Boston when he had all those rookies with him, and it didn't work out. So he's not going to be the man on the team that makes a deep playoff run. KD definitely has shown that he can lead a team to a championship. He was the best player on a team that had Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. So I think he's just, levels above. James Harden, I think he was in a situation in Houston where he knew he wasn't going to win anything. Look, they got as close as they could. They almost beat the 2018 Golden State Warriors. If it wasn't for Chris Paul getting hurt, they would have had a great chance of beating that team. But they didn't, which goes back to the luck you need to have in order to win at that level.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Kyrie is going to be – I don't know. Is he going to be willing to sacrifice? I don't know if when he decided to go to Brooklyn with KD, if James Harden being on the team the next year was going to be part of the plan. I don't think that was part of it. I think the Brooklyn Nets are improvising. They know they need more than just those two in order to win. And Kyrie, like I said before, did not do himself any favors by just not showing up to work. Like, what? Like, this is your job. What other job can you go to and just, like, not go there for 2 weeks and then come back and like, hey, how you doing, guys? So,
yeah.
I do think he has some issues with his mental health, which, I don't think people really empathize with him because he's young and he's rich. And I think, people outside of that sphere don't understand that money.
I think we lost B again. He was about to make a very good point whenever he was talking about Kyrie Irving and being rich and money, and that doesn't mix. Like, just because you got money don't mean that you're exempt from having mental issues or, some type of mental illness or anything like that. My thing about Kyrie Irving is this right here. Kyrie, I'm not sure if he understands who he's playing with whenever I'm talking about Kevin Durant. Like, KD doesn't have to take a lot of shots to get 30 points. He's very efficient. And Kyrie, I think his biggest thing is he's trying to make things right because, when he was in Cleveland, he had a bad breakup with Cleveland. He went to Boston. Boston played better without him. Then he went to Brooklyn, and it was kind of the same thing, And so, at the end of the day, I just feel like he's trying too hard because there's no way that Kyrie Irving should take more shots than James Harden. Like, with this team they have assembled now, it's KD, James, and Kyrie. And in my personal opinion, James Harden should be the point guard because he's a willing passer. A lot of people give James a hard time, say he's selfish, but no, James passes the basketball. Yeah, he looks to score a lot, but he knows I got Kevin Durant on my team. Boom. I know that I can get 10 assists a game with Kevin Durant. And so, and like my boy Stu just said, I said it. Kyrie believes this is his team and he ain't playing second fiddle to nobody. And that's exactly what it is. Like, he doesn't play second fiddle, and it's gonna hurt the Brooklyn Nets. So send him somewhere where he can be the number one guy. That's just how I feel about it, because you got a better team assembled, and then like his mood and the way he carries himself, it brings a bad aura on the entire team. And you can see it whenever they play. Like, I mean, his energy takes over, and like it's a trickle down effect to everybody else. And so, at the end of the day, I just feel like they need to trade Kyrie. I said it whenever they traded for James, because I knew the trade was going to go down. And with Kyrie being on that sabbatical and going about his business and all that good stuff, like, I felt like either cut him or trade him. I say trade him now, because you got him back. You can get some pieces for him. Get you a big man, get you a wing, get you some depth, maybe even another shooter. And that way you'll be well equipped to have more. KD won't have to exert himself so much. James won't have to exert himself so much. And then you'll have balance. You'll have a good bench, So, I feel like trade him, send him on his way, let him go on and have his own team, and you build with KD and James Harden. Because with KD and James, and you get some more pieces, you got Jeff Green and those guys, I feel like they can at least come out the East. And I ain't saying they're going to win it all, because, KD just – but if they get there, it's a great chance, because he looks like his old self again. So at the end of the day, trade Kyrie, send him on his way, because, and it's not even with the mental issue. It's that, he just doesn't bring the right vibe to the team and don't understand. Like, as my boy Stu said, he believes that that's his team, and he ain't playing second fiddle to no one. That's how he feels. And like, for him to really feel that way and think that, because it shows that's Kevin Durant's team. End of the story. Like, everybody that knows basketball knows this is Kevin Durant's basketball team. And in the story, that's what it is. It's Kevin Durant's team. So I just feel like Brooklyn needs to trade Kyrie Irving and send him on his merry way. And I don't know if B gonna get back on. He having trouble with his Wi-Fi. He's over in Argentina. He said the Wi-Fi sucks over there. The internet sucks. So, but we're gonna keep moving on. And our next topic we're gonna talk about, we're gonna end it on this right here. We're gonna talk about Hank Aaron's legacy. Like, I see a lot of people, like, I like baseball. I can watch a baseball game. I used to play baseball. If I knew what I knew now, I would have kept playing baseball and play basketball too, but just kept playing baseball, because you can play baseball till you're 50 years old. Like, you could be a DH or anything like that. But at the end of the day, I hear a lot of people say, that Babe Ruth and all these guys are the best players in baseball, the best players they ever seen. But I didn't get to see Hank Aaron play. I saw highlights. But me being in a sports family, we knew about Hank Aaron simply because he was a black man from the South. He grew up in the South, and he went and dominated a quote unquote white man sport. And with that being said, like, if you go back and you look at history and you look at Hank Aaron, you can't put this man, it's no way that you can't put him at the top or say he's the best baseball player that ever lived. Because I want you to listen to some of these stats about Hank Aaron. Well, first, I mean, he was born in Mobile, Alabama. And if anybody knows, Mobile, Alabama is the deep South. And the time he was growing up, that was, time of the KKK and all that good stuff. You heard stories about him having to hide up under the bed. His mom and them hid him up under the bed because, the KKK was coming through. So it was trying to hide him and all that stuff. And so he got to playing baseball, and he didn't play baseball until late. Like, he didn't grow up playing baseball. He started playing baseball late, and then he got into the Negro Leagues. And, in that Negro League, he played there for a year, and then finally he got a chance to go to the Milwaukee Braves in the MLB. And he really didn't want to go back there because it was in the deep South. He didn't want to go to Atlanta and places like that because, he already knew what it was down there in the South. But the man persevered, and he did all this stuff. And just listen to these stats. He played 21 seasons with the Milwaukee/Atlanta Braves. He had a batting average of 305. A batting average of 305. Like, 305, some people just want to get that in one season, but he did this over his career. 305. He had 3,771 hits, 755 home runs, 2,297 RBIs, and 25 All-Star appearances. He was a World Series, won the World Series in 1957, and was a National League MVP in 1957. He 3-time Gold Glove winner. He a 2-time batting champ, a 4-time NL home run leader, 4-time RBI leader. And he still holds these records here. Career runs batted in 2,297. Career total bases, 6,857. Extra bases, 1,477. And then he has 25 career All-Star appearances. Now, if you don't tell me if that ain't greatness, what is? And to have to deal with all the stuff he had to deal with, like, if you watch Sports Center and stuff over the weekend or whenever he passed away, Tim Kirchin had did a little segment on Hank Aaron, and he said Hank Aaron kept, thousands and thousands and thousands of letters, of hate letters he got in the mail. So he would get, 3,000 letters in the mail, people calling him nigger and saying, all types of racist, bigoted things, and, basically getting death threats, and then he's in a sport where, Babe Ruth was their savior. He was their guy, and he was about to dethrone that. And so for him to have to put up with that and never complain about it, he never complained about it. The guy said that he had to endure that for the next generation, and that says a lot about him. He passed away at 86, and even at 86, he was still doing, stuff to help out socially. He was still working with the Braves, all those types of things. But for me, Hank Aaron showed us that, anything is possible in America, because this guy playing a white man's sport back then, because that's what it really was. You didn't have too many of us that were in the MLBs. We had the Negro Leagues, and then finally they started letting us come and play in the MLB. And the man hit 755 home runs. And when he finally broke Babe Ruth's record, he gets a standing ovation in the Deep South. That's really unheard of. It's really unheard of. And like for us, we played baseball when we were younger. Like I said, we didn't get to see games because he was done before we started playing. But we knew about Hank Aaron. And we knew like how great he was. I've always knew how great he was, but I didn't know like the magnitude of it until his passing, and like how humble he was, but at the same time great. And it touched me to see the things that he went through, all the racism and all of that stuff, and still be the greatest baseball player that possibly picked up a baseball and a bat. And they say he started out hitting cross-handed because he didn't know how to hold a bat. And when he finally learned how to hold a bat right, it was all she wrote for them, because you can take all of Hank Aaron's 755 home runs away, and the guy still has almost 4,000 hits. And like, if I'm not mistaken, Torrey Hunter made this comment. Torrey Hunter said, now guys can get 300 home runs and everybody think he's a god and this, that, and the third. He said, well, what's greater than a god? He said, Hank Aaron. And it's true. Like, Hank Aaron, like, before Barry Bonds broke his record, this guy, and I don't know if he ever proved that Barry Bonds used steroids or anything like that, but we do know that Hank Aaron wasn't using steroids. He did everything the right way. And like I said, just a humble guy, just all around great guy. And I'm an Atlanta Braves fan. So, my baseball team, whenever I was growing up, was the Braves. And then we would make trips to go see the Atlanta Braves. And so we would get a little history on Hank Aaron from time to time. Well, at least I did, because I always paid attention to things like that. I always wanted to know how, things, were different for players back then. I wanted to know a little bit of history. I wanted to know about, some of these people. And Hank Aaron was one of those guys that, I was intrigued by. I didn't get to see him play, but, just to know how this guy could hit a baseball like so well. And people would think that he would have, 50, 60 home runs a year. No, on average, it was just 40. I don't think he ever hit over 40 home runs a year. And that says a lot about him. 25 all-star appearances, 5 all-star appearances. Like, that is just insane. That's insane. B, I'm glad you back. What you think about Hank Aaron?
I mean, obviously it's a name, you would hear about, if you play baseball, you know who Hank Aaron is. He's the guy who broke Babe Ruth's record. In the black community, I think right up to next to, Bob Gibson, Jackie Robinson, he one of those guys that's on the guys who opened the door for Black Americans as far as baseball goes. If Jackie Robinson opened the door, Hank Aaron held it open for the next generation. So,
yeah.
As you were alluding to before, we didn't get a chance to see him play. A lot of his games aren't on film, and when they are, he was already, in the twilight of his career. But from what I hear, he was a model of consistency. He obviously could hit that baseball, it's weird because he comes from a generation. It's a different generation of baseball. It's different from Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson pretty much had to endure the brunt of the racism and the ostracization that a Black American had to deal with. Hank Aaron was probably didn't have to deal with as much. He probably had to deal with some stuff, but not as much. But he broke Babe Ruth's record, and Babe Ruth is probably the most famous baseball player ever. People know who he is. He died like 100 years ago. So, well, not 100, but a very long time ago.
Yeah.
So, I think it's a thing where people are going to appreciate him a little bit later. People, and it's because a lot of his accolades aren't on film. Like, if you want to look at Barry Bonds' 75 home run season or whatever it is, you can see every home run. You can go on YouTube right now and see, type in every home run from Barry Bonds' 2001 and watch it. The fact that you can't see that with Hank Aaron is kind of it is a tragedy, but it's not, the technology wasn't what it is now. So it's a lot of word of mouth stuff we have to hear about, but it is somebody we can be proud of. He wasn't a high profile player like a Willie Mays or even a Bobby Bonds or a Ray Campanella. Like, those are the guys who were stars, but he was a model of consistency that that people in the baseball circles really appreciated. So yeah, he's a hero as far as the African American community goes because he was this Goliath. Well, not even Goliath. He didn't go crazy. He didn't hit over 40 home runs for a season, as you said. So he was just a guy that was constantly there. And then it's like, oh, he has this many home runs. He's about to break Babe Ruth's record, and he did. So rest in peace, Hank Aaron, man. He's Hammer and Hank.
Yeah. Hey, but I believe the biggest thing about him is that he played in Milwaukee. Like, just imagine if he played in New York or LA.
Yeah.
If he played in one of those markets, it might have been different.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. Back then, you didn't have much choice as far as you didn't have players didn't have the autonomy that they have now as far as choosing where they want to play at, which is if he had played for the Yankees, he probably he'd probably have his own candy bar, his own stadium and stuff like that. But unfortunately, he had played. Which is not a shot to Milwaukee, but let's be honest. If you compare Milwaukee to Brooklyn or Bronx Bombers or the Los Angeles Dodgers, it's not a big market team. So yeah, that's and that was back then where there was no ESPN or anything like that. So to do what he did and kind of in the shadows of maybe the higher profile teams is it's hats off to him for that. Like you could tell he wasn't really worried about that stuff. It was no such thing as a superstar athlete. And even if there was, baseball was kind of a down home type of game where you don't make too much noise. You don't try to, stand out so much as you do in like other sports. So, he's a model of consistency, which is something that's something to be admired.
Yeah. I'm with you. And, he lived a good life. 86 years is a long time, a very long time.
Well, I must be 175.
Yeah. All right, B. Well, that's going to be the end of it, but I'm going to end on something different today.
Okay.
I'm going to say 5 things, and I want you to tell me what pops in your head when I say those 5 things, okay?
Oh, Lord. Are you sure about this?
I'm positive.
All right.
Dip Mitris.
Running sessions.
I thought you were going to say 5 and 55. That's what I thought you were going to say.
Same thing. 5 and 55, 444, all that stuff. Golly.
Belmont Abbey.
Best time of my life.
Best time of your life. Mm-hmm. Stuart Mitchell.
Won't pass it. No defense. Won't take a shower after practice.
Oh, man. Why are you doing Stu like that, man?
You asked me, man. Hey, I told you.
Greg Copeney.
Red glasses. Durango boots. Nah, Greg. Come on.
Nah, he did.
That's great.
Yeah, come on, baby. That's what I thought you were going to say, too. All right, and last thing, Tony Crawford.
Brother from another mother. My brother.
I thought you were gonna say shooter, man. You just hurt my feelings, man.
Everybody know you're a shooter.
Everybody don't know that, B. Everybody don't know that.
I was trying to be sentimental.
You trying to be sentimental? Yeah, I look at you as a brother from another mother too, man. Like, that's one thing I can say. I asked you last minute to come on, and you took out time because people don't know you're Argentina, and right now it is 11:30 there now.
11:40.
Yeah, 11:40, something like that. And I appreciate you taking our time out because you are getting old, so I don't know if you go to bed early or anything like that.
I do. I be going to bed early. I be taking naps, man.
Hey, your sister said hi.
Yeah, Dr. Sarah Johnson. All she got to say is hi.
Yeah, that's all she had to say was hi.
That's all she had to say. Good.
Hey, and Stu found what you said to be real funny.
Look, Stu probably got the record for most shots in pickup ever.
Yeah.
He's not passing the joint.
Yeah. Hey, look. Whenever you say Stu, you know what I say? Subway right up the road.
Oh, I thought you meant you're rich Stu, mother lover.
All right.
Gee, thank you, Sarah. She ain't got
Yeah, your sister, man.
Where your kids at?
Yeah, she need help. But B, I appreciate you coming on, man. I appreciate you looking out.
You having me, man.
No problem, no problem. And guess what? I'm gonna give you the final say, so you can say whatever you want to say to end the show.
I was just to take this moment to tell Tony Crawford to go work on his game. Nah, man, just it's good talking to you guys, man. We're talking to you. Me and you had a lot of discussions back in the day, about everything. But man, after all these years, I don't think I've seen you since 2012, man. I just still feel like, we still got the same little, back and forth. Of course, with a little less profanity, but man, love you, love everybody, man. Just keep doing your thing, man.
All right, bro. Love you too, man. Hey, we'll be talking. We'll be talking, man. Have a good one.
All right, you too, man. Later.
All right. Yep.